Hey, this video is to show how I go about aligning my glue-on broadheads. So this is a aluminum arrow, aluminum adapter, and a broadhead, a glue-on broadhead with a steel insert. So in a perfect world, of course, this would all line up really nicely, but it doesn't, and so you have to align your broadheads to your arrow shaft. One thing I should note in this is that this method does not perfectly align the broadhead to the insert. It aligns the broadhead and the insert, or the adapter and the insert and the arrow all together as a system. So once this broadhead is aligned to this arrow, the two are a pair. They have to stay together. It won't work otherwise. So the first thing I always do, so you see, I like to line up my broadheads horizontal when my arrow's on the string, and you can see this broadhead is quite a ways off of that. So the first thing I'm going to do is get that fixed. Dog's barking at the neighbors. So what you want to do when you are heating up a broadhead, so this just has hot melt glue on it. You want to be really careful with this, because if you start to heat up the blades of the broadhead, you'll wreck the temper. So when I'm heating up just right here on the ferrule, and just enough to get it so that I can move it with the pliers. But I actually want it to be able to stay hot, because that's going to come into play in the next step here. So I'm just going to, as evenly as I can, without creating any extra heat that's going to make it out to the edge of the blades. Just get this. I need a pair of pliers here. So it's moving easily. So now I just need to eyeball that. This doesn't have to be dead perfect, but I like them all to be the same. For one, it looks like I know what I'm doing, and two, when I put the arrow on the string, I like my sight picture to be the same every time. And if these are not, if I have a broadhead all of a sudden sticking straight up, it just distracts me. So okay, now that's aligned. Now the next thing we're going to do, turn this off here. So what you need is something that will cradle your arrow shaft. A lot of people use bearings. You can also use two smooth nails crossed like this, but they have to be smooth, not like the galvanized nails. It needs to be like the smooth steel ones. So you can do a pair of those, and then just something that you can, like this, just rotate your shaft in. So you see I have a ruler over here. I'm not sure how well the video will be able to show this, but what I do is I check in this orientation, so flat, and then 180 degrees flat. Get that right first, and what you'll see as you rotate, if the broadhead is aligned, then you can pick a line here. Like I always pick the longest line on the 3-inch, and I get my head down and eyeball it. If you put it here and then rotate it around and it's still on that line, you're good. If it isn't, then you have to find out which side is high or low, doesn't matter which. And then, so like, if it was here, and then when I rotated around, it was up here, then this side would be high. So then I'd flip it back around and push on it like this. And you can use a pair of pliers just to put a little bit of pressure. Don't bend your shaft or anything. A little bit of pressure right there. And what that'll do is then you keep playing with that, and that will get you to where it's aligned this way. So then you go this way and this way. And then you do the same thing. Now this is a little trickier, because especially with this style of broadhead, it's really easy when you're filing it or sharpening it to get the point off center, or like off the center of the axis of the shaft. And so sometimes when you rotate it, the point, the very apex of the point won't be. So then you have to kind of just watch the whole head and see whether it's going like this or whether it's just the same. And then you would do the same thing, except you would push on this edge. Now you only have to do it in those 4 orientations, because if it's good this way and it's good this way, it's going to be good everywhere else. Okay? What was I going to say about that? Oh, so the reason I bring up the point thing is because sometimes people, and I do this too, like to spin it right here. If you can come down and look real close, like right here, you can see, actually, can you see how that's wobbling right there? So what that tells me is that this head is not aligned to that shaft. However, sometimes what you'll get is if that point isn't dead center, it doesn't matter how much you do, you'll never get it to spin nicely. But if with the test up here with the ruler, if the ruler test is good, the head is good, even if it doesn't spin perfectly on the floor. And you'll notice I put it down on the concrete where it's smooth rather than on here, because any little nick or anything else in this tabletop will cause it just won't spin good. So you want a really smooth, hard surface like that to spin it on. So I think I'll probably take you through the process. Can you get in here enough to see like that line there? Okay, so you can see that it's just a hair below the 3 there, and then when you come up, it's like right on the 3, right? So this side is low. So I'm actually going to heat it back up. Just a little bit here. Okay, so then this is just my process here. I'm down here, eye level with it, and I can see which side is high or low. And so then I just give it a little dink and go back to this, and there you go. That's all it took. That is dead. That's dead perfect on the 3, dead perfect on the 3. So now this one, so I kind of put the same thing. I move my eye till it's right on the 3, and then there. So this is low on that point. So now I'm going to just give it a little bit there, and we'll go back and line it up again. That looks really good. It might still be just a hair low right here. Okay, so there. Oh, I went too far. No, that one's too low. Okay, that looks pretty good. I mean, I'm going to give it just a spin test here, just to see. And I don't know if this would show up on the video, but I can tell right there that this is spinning beautifully. So that's actually good. So we're done with this one. That's all it takes to align your broadheads. Thanks for watching.